Hi, and welcome to Soul Search Blog. This is the fourth and final episode of our Advent blog for 2025. And even though we're not really talking about the traditional texts we would talk about in Advent, we're talking about expectancy, looking forward to what Jesus has for us. And this episode is really about how I need Jesus because I need someone who knows the way ahead. You know, it was a gloomy time to be one of Jesus' disciples. Judas, Jesus had predicted, was going to sell him out to the authorities. He had said that Peter, another close disciple, was going to pretend he didn't even know Jesus in his darkest hour when he was accused of something he didn't do and on trial. And Jesus himself told his disciples, I'm going to go away, and where I'm going, you can't come. A troubling time, maybe a cynical time. And then Jesus spoke to them, and he said, Don't let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God, and trust also in me. There is more than enough room in my Father's home. If this were not so, would I have told you that I am going to prepare a place for you? When everything is ready, I will come and get you, so that you will always be with me where I am. And you know the way to where I am going. No, we don't know, Lord, Thomas said. We have no idea where you are going, so how can we know the way? Jesus told him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me. If you had really known me, you would know who my Father is. From now on, you do know him and have seen him. Thomas' mindset was one of despair. He saw no way forward if Jesus was leaving. And maybe humanly speaking, he had it right. Maybe sometimes, as believers in Jesus, even we live like practical atheists. What I mean is, we might confess with our words that we believe in him, but we live practically as though he's not around. We live troubled lives. We're worried all the time. But Jesus is the only authorized representative of God in humanity, the only way to God, the only one who embodies truth absolutely, and the only life we can enter into. Jesus doesn't come and say, here, I'm going to download some information for you. No, he says, I am truth. And he doesn't say, here, get a life. Here's the gift of life, but rather, I am the life. He comes to us himself. He's so thoroughly alive after dying on the cross for humanity's sins, rising again. He can't die again. This new resurrection body of his is permanent. It's a spiritual body. And he had this horrifying physical experience of crucifixion. But when he was dying, he said, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. And the Father ensured that he rose from the dead, and he has opened the way for us. So he understands the future. Are you troubled or trusting Jesus with tomorrow? I remember officiating at my father's funeral. It was an honor to do so. It was a sad day. But he had asked me to do this, and so, well, I can't say it was enjoyable. It was something that I felt good about doing, and I was grateful for the opportunity to reflect on his life and on his faith in Christ, and the certainty he had as he anticipated the next life, because Jesus said, I'm going to prepare a place for you, and I'll come and get you. And he believed that wholeheartedly. And so we went through the funeral, and it was sad, but it was a celebration of his life and also of his faith in Christ. And when it came to the end of the service, with his cowboy boots and his cowboy hat on the platform, we left the sanctuary and the church down the center aisle, as families tend to do. And the pianist played the old familiar song, Happy Trails to You Until We Meet Again, because it was true. And I spent the rest of that afternoon greeting family and friends, and I think actually I was in full-on professional mode as well, and I was fine. The next day we had to leave early and go home because I had a wedding rehearsal to do that night. And along the way, I forgot to pay for my gas when I stopped at a gas station. And finally on the road, I realized what I had done was that before the days of pay before you pump. And I phoned my brother, who kindly went and covered it for me. The gas station didn't even know it had happened. My mind was somewhere else. But I was fine, I thought. The wedding went fine. It was mid-August, and I was fine. And the months went by, and then Christmas morning arrived. And I sat in our living room and I looked through the window, which framed a beautiful snow-covered field just on the edge of town. And beyond it, I could see a farmyard and a farmhouse. The farm. The farm and my dad had always been synonymous. And that scene ripped open my grief, and the absence of my father suddenly came to the surface, and my grieving poured out in sobs of sadness, but also gratitude for his life. My family kindly consoled me and took time for me. Things are not always what they seem. The snow-covered field becomes like a movie of someone's life, or a song on the radio becomes like an anthem for a loved one's faith and perseverance, or a familiar vehicle that you see in traffic reminds you of a family vacation. And the pain of missing someone reveals that there was more love there than you even knew. Still, the words of Jesus are real in the real things we live with. And so he says, do not let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God and trust in me. There is more than enough room in my Father's home. If this were not so, would I have told you that I am going to prepare a place for you? And when everything is ready, I will come back and get you, so that you will always be with me where I am. Our daily choice is a life troubled or trusting Jesus. He's our future certainty. Are we troubled? We can trust him.